I'm here to talk about, in my opinion, what is the biggest cover up and scandal in the history of sports due to the nature of the crimes. And obviously, talking about Penn State and Jerry Sandusky. This part one, I'm going to just give a quick overview of who he is and what he's done. Um, this has to do with childhood sexual abuse. So if you have a weak stomach or if you're an average person and this stuff just normally makes you sick as it should, you might want to turn the video off right now. To me, childhood sexual abuse is more severe than murder, um, at least pertaining to the outcome of the child. Because what you do is you rob them of their soul. At least when you're murdered, say your soul moves on. As a kid, you know, and an adult who you should be able to trust, um, words can't explain um, what happens to a kid um, when they're abused. It just takes everything from them, and many times they don't recover. They a lot of times they have problems, substance abuse problems their whole life. So anyway, Jerry Sandusky, I believe he was a defense coordinator at Penn State for 33 years. Worked with Joe Paterno, um, great defense coordinator. Was responsible for linebacker U. I mean, just he's just as much responsible for the successes of Penn State in the national championships as Paterno. At least many people feel that way. He retired in 1999, supposedly to focus more on his charity, Second Mile, which is for children who are like underprivileged children who either don't grow up in a loving home, they have one parent, they're just not raised right. They go to this nonprofit organization for love. Uh, Before he retired, Sandusky turned down the University of Maryland head coaching job, and after he retired, he really got no offers. That should kind of tell you something. Apparently, him and Paterno had a fallout. We don't know the whole nature of that, but for example, in '99, when Sandusky retired, Paterno did not go to his retirement dinner. And also, when Sandusky wrote a book called Touched, um, he barely mentioned Paterno in the book. And, a guy that was right on top of this whole thing was Mark Madden, reporter for the some Beaver County newspaper, Beaver Times or something, close to Pittsburgh. He came out with a story in April that pretty much the first day and a half, so Sunday, Monday, pretty much all the information that was out then was the same information that Mark released um, in April, but a lot of people dismissed it. And I mean, I never heard of it. Most people did not hear of it. Uh, and a lot of the information he got, as he's admitted, was just leaks from a 2-year grand jury investigation where Sandusky basically abused 8 kids, and there are, I believe, 24 counts, and that's what we know of. Obviously, there's a lot more. In a situation like this, people are afraid to come out, but there's strength in numbers in situations like this, and hopefully, more people do come out because this needs to be told, and then we need to put it behind us. Everybody involved. Um, so anyway, he retired and he kept an office on campus till 2009, and he was seen working out on campus up until I believe late last week. He was still working out on campus. Should not have happened. There are rumors swirling that Sandusky basically they traded his retirement for uh, covering this up. There was an incident where he got caught. I believe it was in was it 98, 99, might have been 2000. I'm not sure, but a mother confronted him, called him. There was a detective listening on the other end, and Sandusky admitted to the abuse and said, he wishes he was dead, and I'm paraphrasing obviously, but he wishes he was dead. It's horrible, this and that. The police chose to do nothing, which is a disgrace. I mean, you have failed innocent children who cannot defend themselves against this monster, this sadistic, sociopathic uh, pedophile. And of course, all these charges are alleged at this point, but it's quite clear this happened. Um, so anyway, this is a man that you would think you know could and should be trusted. Okay, he comes from a great university, uh, a university of higher learning. Kids go there to better themselves, um, to grow up from boys into men. Um, Unfortunately, you know, everything he did good on the football field is well overshadowed the first time you touch a kid. Now, where Joe Paterno comes into all this, and he was fired yesterday after the day, actually a few hours after, maybe a day after, he announced that he was going to step down at the end of the season because of this. And he said, you got to pray some for the kids. No, you got to pray for the kids a lot. It's not, he basically downplayed the situation. I've had great respect for Joe Paterno, as most people have up until now. And the next part, I'm going to explain Joe Paterno, the incident with him, which he's never touched a child, or to my knowledge, or anything like that. I'm not suggesting that at all. But basically, one of the graduate assistants witnessed Sandusky in the shower, and there was oral sex or something uh, happening. And the kid, he was 28 years old at the time, walked outside, uh, called his dad, asked what he should do. His dad said go to Paterno. He went to Paterno. Joe Paterno either, no, I'm not sure, either he said call the athletic director Curley, Tim Curley, um, or Joe called him. I'm not sure, but it wasn't. Let's call the police. And to my knowledge, he never followed up on that. And that's where Joe is culpable here. And the Cleary Act is not that clear. Uh, Pardon the pun. And I mean, basically, Penn State has a clean house here. Um, and the event that I just explained happened in 2002. Because action, or the proper action, was not taken, like to alert the authorities, which totally falls on the AD legally, because it was passed up the chain of command, but morally, Joe Paterno had a right, had an obligation as Joe Paterno to follow up and see this right. He did not do that. And that's where the disappointment comes. Um, so basically, that's really all I have in this introduction. Part two will be everything involving Joe Paterno and the debate whether he should be there or not, and what his legacy will be at the end of all this. And then part three is about the future of Penn State and where we go from here after everything's sorted out. Thanks for watching.